Xue Jun, Deputy Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of Xinjiang People's Congress, Mr. Lijiang Anaiti, Spokesperson of Xinjiang People's Government, and Gulnar Ufuli, Vice Chairperson of Xinjiang Association for Science and Technology, Zhemi Zhe, female representative from Aksu City of Aksu Prefecture, Subinur Mehmet, graduated trainee from Yecheng Vocational Education and Training Center of Kashgar City, Mr. Moulan Usman, Imam of Langan Mosque from Aksu City, Ms. Dilnur, a migrant worker from Luopu County of Hotan Prefecture, and Ms. Ainisha Guli, parent of a student of a boarding school in Kuala City, Bango Prefecture. So the above are the colleagues with me today on Xinjiang side. Now I would like to give the floor back to the Australian Embassy.
Thank you. Now let me invite Ambassador Chen to have a few words in the beginning.
Good afternoon, dear friends. There has been quite some historic coverage of Xinjiang, including the community. Those reports are basically based on good information, misinformation. Today's press conference is healthy and to enjoy. It has a better understanding of the actual situation in Xinjiang. I have the pleasure to invite representatives from Xinjiang South on student workers' life and to talk to me about this topic that we have. The press conference consists of two parts. Firstly, the effects on Xinjiang will make a presentation, will make some presentations about Xinjiang from their own experience. Secondly, when they will be updated, then we will take it. Now I will go back to the representative from Xinjiang. You have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now please watch a short video of about 6 minutes, which will show Xinjiang's economic development, social stability, livelihood improvement, ethnic solidarity, religious harmony, and beautiful scenery. Please watch the video. So can you hear us on the Australian side?
Yes. Looking for the video.
Does the video go around well?
Not yet.
视频有怎么看？
请大家稍等一下啊，可能是信号的原因。
Please wait for just a minute. There's some connection problem probably.
Dating from remote antiquity, Xinjiang has been an integral and inseparable part of the Chinese territory, and indeed a land of special significance. Under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, under the exceptional care of the party and the central government have devoted, with the generous assistance from the carrying out provinces and cities, and to the concerted effort of hundreds and the masses of all ethnic groups, Xinjiang has been transformed into a land of life, a land of thriving vitality. This is a land of vastness and a country home to 56 ethnic groups. Xinjiang covers a total area of over 1.66 million square kilometers. Over the long course of history, people from various ethnic backgrounds in Xinjiang, joined by those from across the country, have worked together to develop this vast, magnificent part of the motherland. Ever since the founding of the People's Republic of China, the Chinese government has placed high on its agenda the inheritance, protection, and development of the excellent traditional ethnic cultures in Xinjiang. People from different and written languages. All ethnic customs and traditions are duly respected. In Xinjiang today, people from various ethnic groups live in concord, live in solidarity, and develop in harmony, bending together closely like the seeds of a pomegranate. This is a land of harmony and stability, where people from various ethnic backgrounds live and work in peace and contentment. In recent years, by holding high the banner of socialist rule of law, a legitimate struggle against terrorism and extremism has been waged in
Ambassador, can you hear us?
更难和时常出现的也会表现出调查 of the extrajudicial ethnic culture in Xinjiang. Those ethnic groups are currently along with each other's social political languages. All ethnic national associations are truly separate. In Xinjiang today, people from various ethnic groups live in concord, simultaneously at the dawn of harmony. Then very quickly and receive for pomegranate. This is a land of harmony and stability, where people from various ethnic backgrounds live in ways that ease the commitment. In recent years, my own kind of gender and social legal law, but a general struggle against terrorist and extremism has been raised in Xinjiang. The tendency of predatory activity has been effectively curbed. Safeguarding to the full extent the right of people of all ethnic groups is the citizen and youth development. Enhancing stability across Xinjiang for the people of the local people is the greater ease of consent. There is a level of prosperity and progress with a new development approach and creative group. And the opportunity to lead the development stage, including the new development approach, the building of a new development paradigm is underway in Xinjiang. By following the general principles of commerce and stability, and pursuing coordinated consent of both regulatory COVID-19 response and social economic development, economy in Xinjiang is maintaining a steady, well-balanced trajectory. There is a land of Canada where people's well-being is powerfully improved, highlighting the people's area of development and growth. Reflecting the beneficial public project in Xinjiang is devoted to ensure the benefit of people's livelihood. The individual design keeps improving the human way. More regular medical checkups are made available to the entire population. The 9 years of healthy education becomes universal across Xinjiang, and in Xinjiang, the 50-year free education program covers the entire population. By the year 2020, we entire poor population by current standards in Xinjiang in literal poverty. The problem of extreme poverty has been resolved once and for all. There is a land of religious harmony, where the freedom of religious belief is respected and protected. In Xinjiang, the principle of freedom of religious belief enshrined in the national constitution has been put under entirety. More than the activities of religion, religion are governed by law, and even the complexity and activity is prevailed. There is a right of the next day with a variety of procedures. According to Xinjiang, there are new responsibilities in nature and culturally science that have become popular destinations for both Chinese and foreign tourists. Xinjiang is well known as the home of lemon and fruit, a land of golden gates and a confident and fruit paradise. Xinjiang has been pressing ahead with a strategy of invigorating food tourism, with a view to transform them as a prestigious area industry. Japanese leading waters and lush mountains are establishing as mountains of gold and silver. People in Xinjiang are fully aware of a land of snowy life and also be a treasure house. It is a land of unexpected benefits with exponential development. Located within the land of European continent, on the European bridge, Xinjiang has been an important corridor with language and cultural exchanges. It is more possibility and vocational benefit. Going forward, the Xinjiang development core area is certainly not developed. Passion, 王之前，人民口旁具体与行方老，人口旁人心作为，我的儿子口老。Welcome to Xinjiang-related.
The video is over. Now you can take the floor to have the introductory remarks.
好，看来今天信号不太好啊，但是不
It
影响
seems that
交
there
流
are
啊。
some connection problems, but I hope our communication will be smooth. And next, I would like to give the floor to Vice Governor Eric Antoniadze to deliver the keynote speech.
尊敬的陈金业大使，女士们、
Honorable
先
Ambassador
生们、朋友
Chen,
们，
ladies
大
and
家
gentlemen, dear friends,
欢迎大家参加
Welcome to
新疆是好地方
the
交流会。
interactive session, Xinjiang is a
在此，
wonderful
我代
land.
表新疆维吾尔自治区
Hereby,
人
on
民
behalf
政府
of the People's Government of Xinjiang-related autonomous
大
region,
家表示
I'd
热
like
烈
to
的欢迎。
express a warm welcome
仅此以美
and
好
best
祝福。
regards to all
下
of
面
you.
我向大家
Next, I'd like to brief you on Xinjiang's stability and development.
新疆地处
Located
中国
on
的
China's northwestern border,
历来是多民
Xinjiang
族
has been
聚
a
集、
multi-ethnic place with diverse cultures converging and different religions coexisting since ancient
是
times.
东西方文
It is
明
an
交流的
important
重
passage
要
for
的通
exchanges
道，
between Eastern and Western
是古
civilizations,
丝绸之路的
a hub
重要节
along
点，
the ancient Silk Road,
是丝绸之路经济带
and the core area of
建
the
设
Silk
的
Road
核
economic
心
belt.
区。在中共党的18大以
Since the
来，
18th CPC
党中
National
央坚强
Congress,
领导下，
under the strong leadership
新
of
疆
the
维吾尔
CPC
自治
Central
区
Committee,
认真贯
Xinjiang-related
彻
autonomous
新
region
时代
has
党的治疆
earnestly
方略，
carried out the CPC's strategy
坚
on
持
governing
以
Xinjiang
人
in
民
the
为
new
中心的
era,
发展，
pursued a people-centered
将人
development
民对美
philosophy,
好生活的向往
and taken
作为
the
奋
people's
斗目标，
aspiration for a better life as
推
a
动
goal of our
经
work.
济社会发展和民
As a
生改
result,
善，
Xinjiang has made
取得了
unprecedented
前所未
achievements
有的
in
成效，
socio-economic development and
天山
livelihood
南北
improvement,
呈现出
with
社
social
会稳定
stability being well
人
maintained
民安居
and the
乐业
people
的
living
良好
and
局面，
working in peace and
各自
contentment,
群众的
and
获得感、
all ethnic
幸
groups
福感、
getting
安
a
全感
much stronger
不断
sense of
增强，
fulfillment, happiness,
社会
and
大局持
security
续稳定向
across the
好。
region.
过去
Overall
一个
social
时期，
stability has been
新疆
maintained and
深受
improved.
暴
Over
力
the
恐
past
怖主
period of
义、
time,
民族分
Xinjiang
裂主义、
has suffered
宗
a
教
lot
极
from
端主义
violent
之害。
terrorism, ethnic
上世纪
separatism, and
90
religious
年代
extremism.
至
From
2016
1990s
年，
to 2016,
境内外三部势
separatists,
力在
terrorists,
新疆
and
策划并组织
extremists
实
at
施
home and
了
abroad committed
数千
thousands
起
of violent
暴
terrorist
公案
attacks
事
in
件，
Xinjiang,
造成大量无
resulting
辜
in
群
the
众
deaths
被害，
of a large number of
财
innocent
产损
people
失无
and
法估算。
immeasurable property losses.
面对严峻复杂的反恐
Facing
形
the
势
grave and
和
complex
各自群众
counterterrorism circumstances,
对打
as
击
well as
暴力恐怖
the
犯罪、
pressing anti-terrorism
保障
desire
生命
and the call for protection
财产
of
安
the
全的
safety
迫
of
切
life
要
and
求，
property of
我
the
们
people of
高
all
举
ethnic groups,
社会主义法治
Xinjiang
体
has
制，
upheld the rule of law,
节俭吸收国
drawn
际社
upon
会
international
反
communities'
恐
counterterrorism
经验做法，
experience and
积极践
practices,
行联合
actively
国全球
implemented
反恐战略。
UN Global Counterterrorism Strategy and the UN Action Plan to prevent violent
原则
extremism.
和精神，坚持一手抓
Xinjiang
打击，
attaches equal
一手
importance
抓
to
预防，
striking hard at violent
依法
terrorist
严厉
crimes
打击
and
暴
preventing
力恐
further
怖犯罪，
such attacks
有
by
重视开
addressing the
展
root
源头
causes
治理，
through improving
着力
people's
改善民
livelihood,
生，加强
strengthening
法治宣
legal
传教育，
publicity and education,
依法设立
and
职业
establishing
技能
vocational
教育培
education and
训中
training
心，
centers
进行
according
防腐
with
教育
law
等多种方式，
to help and
最大限度
rehabilitate
地
the trainees.
消除了自身
We have made
恐怖
utmost
主义
efforts to
宗教
eradicate the soil and
极端主义
conditions
的土壤
for
和条
breeding
件，
terrorism and religious
最大限度
extremism
地保障
and
了
protect
各
the
自
people's
群众
basic
的
rights from
基
being
本权利
harmed by
免受
terrorism
恐怖主
and
义、
religious
宗
extremism.
教极端主义的
So
侵害
far,。
目前，
There has
新
been
疆已经
no
连续
violent terrorist
4年
attacks
多
for more than 4
以来
years in a
没有
row,
发生暴恐案件，实现了各自群众
realizing all ethnic
对
groups'
平安稳定的
aspiration
渴
for
望
peace
与期
and
盼。
stability.
经济 实现高质
High
量发展。
quality economic development has been
我们
achieved
坚持稳中求进
by
工作
adhering
总
to
的
the
基调，
overall principle of making progress while maintaining stability.
贯彻
We
新发
base
展
our
理念，
work
构
on
建
the new
新发展格
development
局，
phase,
保持了经
implement
济
new
平稳
development
健康的
philosophy,
发展。
and build new
13步之间
development paradigm,
新疆
and
地
has
区的生
maintained
产总
steady
值
and sound
由
economic development. During the 13th
9306.88
five-year plan, Xinjiang's
亿元
regional
增
GDP
加到
increased from
13797.98
930.69 billion yuan to 1.38 trillion yuan.
2020
In
年，
2020,
新疆
the
城
per
镇
capita
人均
disposable income of
城
urban
镇居民
residents in
人均可
Xinjiang
支配收入
reached
34,4836 元，
34,838 yuan,
是2010年的
41
2.7 倍。
times that of 2010,
农民
and that of
农村居
rural
民人均可
residents
支配收入
registered
14056元，
14,056 yuan,
的2.82倍。
2.82 times that of 2010.
我们加快
We
构
have
建
stepped up
一体化
building
的
a
交通体
three-dimensional
系，实现了
transportation
江内
with an
环起来，
interconnected network
速将
within
快
Xinjiang and faster
铁
travel
路
for going
运
in
油
and out
里
of
程达
the
到
region.
7437
The
公里，
total railway mileage in the
通达
in operation
全疆所有
amounts
的
to
冀州市，
7,473
公路
kilometers,
通
connecting
车
all
里
prefectural
程达
level
到
cities.
21万公里
The。highways stretch a
所有的
total
冀州
of
市已经迈入了
210,000
高
kilometers.
速公路时代，
Prefecture level
近
cities and 75%
75%
of the counties
县
have
市
got
也都
access
实现
to
了
highways.
高速一级公路。民用机场总
Civil
数达到
airports in the
22个，
region total 22,
位居全国省
ranking
区
Xinjiang
市
the top
首位。
among all
我们坚
provinces,
持立足
autonomous
当地
regions
资
and
源，
cities in China.
着力培育壮大
Focusing
特
on the
色
local
优势产
resources,
业，
we have made major
重点
efforts in developing
抓好
Xinjiang's
石油石
advantageous
化、
industries,
煤
including
炭、煤化
petroleum
工、
and
电
petrochemical,
力、
coal and
纺织、
co-chemical, electricity,
纺织
textile
服
and
装、
clothing,
电子产品、
electronics,
林果、
fruits,
农副产
agricultural
品加
byproducts
工、
processing,
馕、葡萄
non-bacon,
酒、旅游
winery
等
and
产
tourism
业的发展。
industries.
我们深入推进
We
丝
have
绸之路经济
promoted
带核
development
心
of
区域
Xinjiang
建
as a
设，
core area of the Silk Road
过去
economic
5年
belt. Over the past 5
新
years,
建累计开
more
行
than
中欧班列
4,200
4200
China-Europe freight trains
从
passed
大
through
洋欧
Xinjiang
19个国
to
家26
19
个城
Eurasian
市，
countries and
形成了
26
多件
cities,
多项的
forming a
班列开行格局。
multi-destination and
特别是
multi-direction
2020
transportation
年，
network.
在疫情
Despite the
影响下，
COVID-19 impact in 2020,
仍然是
the
逆
freight
势上
trains
扬，
still made an
开行
increasing
了
number
达
of
到
trips,
1105
reaching
列。钢铁驼队
1,105.
在
The
一
steel
带一路
caravan
上
of the
飞驰
trains
前行，为沿
running
线
at
各
a
国
high
人民
speed
带
along
去
the
了
Belt
看
and
不见、
Road have
摸得着
delivered
的
tangible
智慧。
benefits to
我们依
people
托
along the
国
railways.
家赋予的5年免税企业
Relying on the state
所得税
preferential policies such
等
as
特殊的
5-year
优
exemption
惠
of
政策，
corporate income tax,
提升
we
产业
have upgraded
聚
the
焦的能
industrial
力，
clustering
着力
capacity
把喀
and
什、
made
鄂尔果
vigorous
斯
efforts in
经济
building
开发区
Kashgar and
打
Hagas
造
economic
成为
development zones
新
into
疆
two
南
main
北
supporting
2
points
个重要的支点，
and innovative
和创新发展的
development
示范区。
demonstrative areas,
我们
respectively
围绕
in southern and northern
商贸
Xinjiang,
物流、
focusing
交
on
通
the
枢纽、
development of regional centers for
文化
trade
科
and
教、
logistics,
医疗服
transportation,
务、
cultural and
区域
education,
金融
medical
服务中
service,
心
and
建设，
finance.
实施一
We
大
have
批
implemented a group of major projects of
基础设施、
infrastructure
国际国内
and
交流合作的项目，
international and domestic exchanges
19个
cooperation.
国家级对外开放口岸，
Making use of the 19 national open ports,
进出口
we have
商品
boosted import and export commodities processing industry,
边境跨境
frontier
旅
and
游、
cross-border,
边境都市贸易、
border
电子商务等
e-commerce
外
and
向
other
性经济的发展，
export-oriented economy.
推动
Thus
通道经
transforming
济向产业
economy,
经济、
the routeway
口岸
economy,
经济转变，将新疆的
and
区位优势、资源优势转变为经济优势，脱贫攻坚取得全面胜利。新疆是集中连片的特困区。近年来，我们落实精准扶贫、精准脱贫基本的黄列，紧扣2不愁、3保障。2不愁就是不愁吃、不愁穿；3保障就是这个义务教育、基本医疗、住房这个安全有保障。 坚持6个精准，这6个精准就是扶贫对象精准、措施到户精准、项目安排精准、应春害人精准。
Dispatching officials for the poverty relief program according to the village conditions and focused on the relief effect. Through a series of support measures such as industrial development, employment, ecological compensation, relocation, and government subsidy, we have made resolute endeavors to weigh the targeted poverty alleviation and battle and to eradicate absolute poverty. At present, 3.06 million rural impoverished people under the current poverty line.
3600全部退出，35个贫困县全部在冒，2不愁3保障全面实现，贫困家庭义务教育阶段孩子应听适学辍学实现动态清零，贫困人口基本医疗保险、大病保险参保率达到100%，多年无期饮水安全和住房安全短板，农村饮水安全和危房改造的任务全面完成。5年累计解决和巩固
Last 5 years, we have
152
solved
万贫困人口的饮水安全问题，全部贫困人口
with all impoverished people having got access to safe drinking water.
设计结束
The history of living in dilapidated and dangerous houses has ended for the impoverished.
生活条件得到了
The problem of absolute poverty lasting thousands of years in Xinjiang has been solved historically,
绝对贫困问题得
and
到
the people's living conditions has improved remarkably.
民族团结更加巩固。
Ethnic solidarity has
我
been
们
further
全面贯
consolidated.
彻党的民主政策，
We comprehensively implement the party's ethnic policies, firmly practice the regional ethnic autonomy, and vigorously promote solidarity, prosperity, and
发展。
all ethnic groups in the region.
中国
For a long time, the Chinese government's population policy has given preferential treatment to ethnic minorities, including the Uyghurs. In Xinjiang, a couple in rural areas can have 3 children,
兄弟总
whereas those in other
这个农村
provinces
可生
in
育
China
2个。
can only have 2.
据统计，
According to statistics, from 2010 to 2018,
新疆维吾尔
the Uyghur population in Xinjiang
增加
increased by
254.6万人，增幅
up
达到25.5%。
25.04%, which is higher than the regional population growth rate.
政府也高于全部少数民族人口的
Ethnic minority population growth rate of 22.14%,
这明显高于
and much higher than the Han population growth rate of 2%.
保障各族人民平等参与。
We have made earnest efforts in guaranteeing all ethnic groups equal right to participation and administration of national affairs. The autonomous regional governor, prefects of autonomous prefectures, and heads of autonomous counties are all served by members from the ethnic group, exercising regional autonomy in the area concerned. We protect all ethnic groups' right to use and develop their own spoken and written languages according to law. Ethnic minority languages are widely used in judicial administration, education, publication, radio and television, and
我们充分尊重各民
respect
族
all ethnic groups' customs and traditions in costume,
在服饰、
wedding,
节庆、
rituals, funerals,
丧葬
etc.
等方面的习俗，规范
Regulate halal food production and operation,
保障
and ensure the dietary customs.
饮食习俗。我们依法保护、传承和弘扬 民族的优秀传统文化。维吾尔木卡姆艺术、
Uyghur Mukam art,
诗词
Kyrgyz
马南
epic,
诗等被列
and
入
several other
联合
works
国教科文组织
as
人类
masterpieces of
非物质
UNESCO's
文化遗产代表作
heritage of humanity.
其他的
Besides,
非物质文化遗
Xinjiang
产
has also
也
got
列入国家级的名录
83
3项。
intangible cultural heritages listed at national level and 315 ones listed at provincial level.
团结一家亲和民族团结
We have extensively carried out the Family of Ethnic Unity campaign and other programs for enhancing ethnic unity and solidarity. Some 1.1 million officials and SOE workers have paired up with more than 1.6 million people in grassroots communities. We have made friends, established king-like relations, and delivered substantial benefits to the people.
2016年
Statistics show that under the relevant programs, the officials have donated
群众捐款
more
达
than
到
1.08 billion yuan
捐款物资
and 5,590 goods
10多万件，
to the residents in grassroots communities
2270
and have done more than 22.74 million
人民
good deeds
众的衷心用
or
和
helped
热烈
solve the
参与
difficulties
宗
for
教
the
领域
people. The campaign has been heartily supported and hailed by the people of all ethnic
宗教
groups.
信仰
Religious harmony has been promoted.
依法保
We have
障
fully implemented the party's policies on freedom of religious belief and protect normal religious activities and demands of believers according to law.
改善，极大地方便了
The conditions of the venues for religious activities have been improved greatly in Xinjiang, offering great convenience for believers.
8所宗院以及伊斯兰教
Religious schools in Xinjiang, including
共有10所宗教院校，每年招生近千人，形成了较为
1,000 students every year with a complete Islamic talents cultivation and education system.
翻译出版了汉语、汉文、维吾尔文、哈
The
萨克文、
Quran and
这都是
Ishad al-Sari
古兰经。
al-Bukhari have been translated and published in Mandarin, Uyghur, Kazakh, and Kyrgyz languages,
今年世纪不断拓宽宗
thus
教
continuously expanding ways for Muslims to obtain religious knowledge.
人民生活明显改善。
The people's livelihood has made remarkable improvement. We adhere to putting the people's benefits first and allocate over 70% of public financial budget to ensuring and improving the people's livelihood,
是发展成果
so as to make more development achievements benefit the people of all ethnic groups in a fairer manner.
城乡教育一体化的发展。
With the integration of urban-rural education, 9-year compulsory education has reached full coverage region-wide, and so has the 15-year free education in southern Xinjiang. In 2020,
8万
all the 1.56 million 4 to 6-year-old preschool children in rural areas across the region went to kindergartens for free.
持续开展城乡
We provide free
健康体检。
annual physical examinations for urban and rural residents. Those with rural household registration enjoy the service of payment first
决战放
and
不断
of treatment first and payment second,
大病保险
and also the service of one-stop settlement.
3类医疗的
A three-tiered medical security system consisting of basic medical insurance, critical illness insurance, and medical relief is upgraded,
我们大力支持全民参保计划，
thus safeguarding the people's health and access to basic medical service with government subsidy.
11万人，
We have vigorously implemented the universal participation of social insurance program. The basic endowment insurance has covered 13.11 million people. The participation rates of basic medical insurance and serious illness insurance have both reached 99.71%. The personal accident injury insurance has achieved full coverage, and the minimum living allowance has covered all eligible urban and rural residents. We have implemented a series of people beneficial policies through employment, providing opportunities for everyone to realize his or her value of life. In this process, the workers of all ethnic groups follow their own will to choose their own occupation. In the light of China's labor law and other laws and through these projects for the benefits of the people, we have provided our people with better access to kindergartens, schools, jobs, medical services, old age care, safe housing, assistance and support, and all ethnic groups are living an increasingly better life. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Xinjiang has never been developed more prosperously in history as today. However, recently, a handful of people with ulterior motives in some countries turned a blind eye to the fact that Xinjiang people are living a good life, but spread rumors that Xinjiang sets up concentration camps, implements massive forced labor, conducts forced sterilization against ethnic minorities, and commits genocide. These allegations cannot be more preposterous, and they are downright lies. Yet, some Western politicians would rather believe in lies fabricated by a few liars than listen to the common views of the 25 million Xinjiang people of all ethnic groups. It's only the Xinjiang people who have the best say about the real situation on the ground. And those Western politicians would rather cooperate with the anti-China forces in the shoddy play than face up to the basic facts of Xinjiang's development and progress. Their fundamental purpose in doing so is attempting to artificially create a so-called Xinjiang issue, undermine Xinjiang's security and stability, and impede China's development. We strongly condemn and firmly oppose this. What Xinjiang has done is perfectly open and above board, and aims at nothing but benefiting the people of all ethnic groups in the region. We warmly welcome you to visit this region to know the real Xinjiang. Thank you all.
Now, the Vice Governor, Mr. Alcantunias, has introduced the achievement of stability and economic development in Xinjiang. I believe that you've got our first impression about Xinjiang. Now today, to get to better understand Xinjiang, we've invited 6 experts and grassroots level representatives to give us a brief introduction and their own stories and experiences. First, I would like to invite the Vice President of Science and Technology Association, Linda Gokuli, to introduce some population groups of ethnic minorities and family planning. Please. Good morning. China adopted a step rule of its family planning policy, which were initiated with urban Han ethnic families in central and eastern provinces before extended to border areas like Xinjiang, and villages and ethnic minorities. compare with Han people, the policies loosened on ethnic minorities. Starting from 1975, Xinjiang began applying the policy in Urumqi and other cities where Han people were relatively contracted. The promulgation of provisional regulations on questions concerning family planning policy marked the policy's application among Han people. The rules of Xinjiang Autonomous Region for the implementation of family planning policies issued in 1992 adopt a looser version on ethnic minorities as opposed to Han people. Urban Han people couples were allowed to have one child and a rural couple would have 2 children. While urban ethnic minority couples were allowed a second child and rural ones a 3rd child. With the improvement of economic and social development and convergence of races and childbearing among all ethnic groups, Xinjiang revised its rule on population and family planning in 2017, stipulating that all ethnic groups should observe a unified family planning policy, which is an urban couple can have 2 children and a rural couple can have 3 children. Obviously, family planning policy on ethnic minorities was instituted 17 years later than their Han counterpart and in a much looser manner. The truth in Xinjiang ethnic minority population has registered sustained growth. Statistics show that the region's permanent resident increased by 3,518 million to 25.8676 million from 2018 in 2010, with an increase of 30.99%. The breakdown shows that ethnic minority population increased by 2.8 million or to 15.8 million from the 12 million in this period, up 22.40%. The Uyghur population added from 2.5 million to 12.7184 million, up 20.4%. Han population increased by 176 or 2% to 9.0068 million from 8.8 million. It is obvious to see that the Uyghur population only grew faster than the regional overall population, but also higher than that of ethnic minorities, and even far higher than that of Han ethnic groups in Xinjiang. Recent years, the U.S. and other Western anti-China forces harboring premeditated schemes have smeared some of the measures Xinjiang adopted as concentration camps, massive civilians, forced labor, forced sterilization, and separation of generations, which were calibrating these terms to the crimes spelled out in the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide adopted by the United States in 1948. In an effort to serve in terms of pinning genocide labor on Xinjiang. On January 19th, former Secretary of State Pompeo made a series of Xinjiang-related fallacies, lacking Xinjiang with groundless accusations. He falsely claimed that Xinjiang's policies of Muslim and ethnic minorities are crimes against humanity and genocide. On March 30th, the United States Department released 2020 International Human Rights Reports. It based on lies and disinformation produced by a handful of anti-China forces. One of them asserted that there is a genocide in Xinjiang. This is the most prosperous lies of the century, an outrageous insult and affront to the Chinese people. This move grossly interferes in China's internal affairs and is a gross breach of international law and basic norms governing international relations. It is bound to be strongly condemned and rejected by China's people, including all ethnic groups in Xinjiang. Thank you. Next, first. Next, we'd like to invite the female to introduce about the Xinjiang family planning. Good morning. My name is Rumija. I'm from Aksu. Recently, I have one daughter. I'm 10 years old. She's in kindergarten. I get married with my husband in 2015, and we give birth to a daughter. And I consulted with my husband. We want to better conditions and want to have a second children. In our country, a lot of families in our country give birth to second child. Now with a better national policies, and they give us a free medical care for pregnant women, and also give us medical care subsidies, so we don't have to pay much. After the birth of the second children will give us milk powder and nutritious food. Now, my babies have very good health. My children were in kindergarten, primary school, and junior high school are all free of charge. We don't have to care about our food, clothes, and tuition fees. Recently, the women in our country have changed a lot. A lot of my sisters and friends said that. In the past, we give birth to a lot of children with a very heavy burden. We can just stay at home to rear children. Now we think it is better to give a good quality birth and have time to do things we want to do. Take me, for example. I've opened a cake shop, hiring 2 employees with a very good business. Me and my husband all have stable job and better conditioned families. We are very satisfied about our life. Now, the life is very happy for us. Thank you. Thanks for your speech. Emir's view represented most of Xinjiang's Uyghur women, wear shorts, and opinions and race situations. So, to get a better understanding of the situations here, I would like to have a short video. Please.
Mən öz ixtiyarlığım bilan sug'urtash tadbirdim. O'zi tadbirim tanlagan uchun hozir shu bolamni tug'ib 3 oydan keyin o'zi solgan uchun men salomatligimni mas'uli hozirgi qanaqa yomon ta'sirini qo'ydim. Bizning yaxshi ziyaret ilk arzu andu tasviri berkatın bir teşvik ilk arzu zaten mesuliyet lazım diye istedim ben şu anda mesul kulalı siyasi insan yakti menna mesul Sarjantlık atağında sırıktıvanlamışlığın alınan meclis oğanlar tutun siyaset hazır mağazı nurgun yoş atağımla Özgeden mesul sırıktıvanlamışlığa kesinlikle mesul siyasetten kahraman bulunduğu men siyasetten kolumu kollayın. Bu yıldaş yaştırdı, oğlum bu yıl yaştırdı, emblem yaştırdı, hizmeti, hizmeti. Sizler yazık yalıktırıp我有一个女儿，今年10岁了，她正在上幼儿园。我今天的上做了茶饭，我想她已经上面了，常年没有身体没有任何影响。
something wrong with the signal. Now we'd like to continue. Next, we'd like to invite the formal training of the Xinjiang-related education and training centers to introduce how they get ready to religious extremism to get a stable job and live a happy life. Please. Good morning. My name is Binor Mehmet Ming. I'm a graduate trainee of Vocational Education Training Center, Yecheng County, Kashgar. Now I work in a legal service office in Yecheng County. When I was in junior school, my neighbor always asked me to chat in her house and tell me about the so-called religious knowledge. He told me that paradise is so beautiful with endless money to spend and a lot of delicacies to enjoy. There are a lot of beautiful clothes and many servants to serve us. I can get whatever I want. To enter the paradise, I have to kill the pagans. I'm firmly believing what she said and aspire to enter the paradise. After I went to a technical secondary school, I surfed some websites spreading religious extremism and contemplated how to kill pagans. At that time, as long as listening to any terrorist attacks, I would pay close attention to it and regard those terrorists as heroes. After the March, the first criminal violent terrorist attack, I noticed one terrorist was a Uyghur girl younger than me from the news. I took her as my idol, hoping that one day I could be her to declare war on pagans like her. My families noticed my strange behaviors, and they're worried about me. With that persuasion, I went to Vocational Education Training Center in the county. In the Vocational and Training Center, we learn about spoken Chinese, law, vocational skills, and deregularization. Through study, I'm clear about what is illegal and what is legal, what is the right thing to do, and what is the wrong thing to do. Especially I know that religious extremism is harmful. It incites us to engage in terrorist attacks to be cannon fodder. The center has launched
音乐、计算机等相关课程。
We can, according to our own interest, to choose 1 to 2 classes. I choose computer. The Vocational Education Center has humanitarian management. Our dormitory are equipped with a TV set, fence, and it is very comfortable. The center fully respects our customs. The canteen provides us halal food free of charge, which is very delicious. The Education Training Center also have medical services with 24-hour doctors, and the doctors could treat us our ill. In the center, we could contact with our families and friends. We can ask for leave if we have something to attend. And when it's Sunday and Saturday, or in the normal holidays, we can have our rest. On vacation, we can participate in normal religious activities at home. After graduation, my family said I become more outgoing and energetic. Then through the skills and the legal knowledge I learned, I have find a secretary job in a legal office and get a 4,500 yuan a month. I have very full and satisfied life. I know that all this is from the Vocational Education Center. It gives me a new life. Thank you. Thanks for your story. Next, we would like to see a quick video. So about other trainings.
心像阳光，生活而不是掌握，别因为畏惧失败而不去尝试。如果想做一件事，而且去做些，你的生命本就该是一场旅行。我是影响开始唯一的辅导演员，爱科的2岁。从教育中心毕业后， 我在这里教研已经2年了。不来。在我上小学的时候，就非常热爱表演，是小区中心，让我从此了成为一名舞者的梦想。我很感激小区中心给了我新的生活。游客们对我们的民族服饰和舞蹈特别感兴趣，看到他们对我的热情，我很享受这种感觉。享受舞蹈给我带来的喜悦，享受舞蹈给观众们带去的欢乐，也享受读书，享受购物。是国家给我们创造了一个良好的条件，有了稳定的收入，过上了更好的生活。未来我想在北城里有一间自己的阁楼，在一个退役的以后，我端上一杯轻松的花茶，享受着幸福的生活。我爱我的祖国，我是爱吃的、爱舞蹈的维吾尔族姑娘。
Watching the video of a training for Education Training Center, a lot of people are versatile. Next, we would like to introduce the Imam of Aqsu Grand Mosque, Mobile Mosque, to introduce how Xinjiang guarantees the freedom of religious belief. Please. Good morning. My name is Molan Usman. I'm the Imam of Aqsu Langan Grand Mosque. I'm an Imam. In 2012, I graduated from Xinjiang Islamic Institute. I served as Imam in Langan Mosque. Langan Mosque was built in 1840 in an area of 3,478 square meters, with construction area of 20 square meters. The mosque has been equipped with water, electricity, natural gas, radio, and television facilities, along with other amenities including medical services, LED screens, computers, electric fans, air conditioners, clean drinking water facilities, bath equipment, and function toilet, which greatly facilitate believers. For 5-day prayers, Juma, and at prayer, the Muslims around will come to the mosque. On April 13th, Ramadan would like to fall in Xinjiang. Whether to observe Ramadan or not is one's own decision without any interference from others. On last day Ramadan, many Muslims in our street observed Ramadan. The government sent medical workers to the mosque to give us medical services. They also provide us tea, naan bread, and food for iftar, and we were satisfied. We welcome friends from Australia and other countries to come to Xinjiang during Ramadan. You can get to know Muslims of all ethnic groups in Xinjiang during Ramadan. We also welcome you to Aqsu, the Langan Grand Mosque, and also be a guest of our house. We Muslims have a lot of channels to study Islamic knowledge. We can study it in a mosque or religious colleges. We can also read some religious classics, for example, the magazine Chinese Muslim and the internet. Take me as an example. In Xinjiang Islamic Institute, I studied reciting Quran, Hadith, Islamic doctrines and religious knowledge. In spare time, I read a lot of Islamic classics. Now, when it comes to Juma and Eid prayers, I would interpret Quran to Muslims, imparting them Islamic knowledge. Some overseas organizations and people smear that Xinjiang is curbing religious freedom, forcefully abolishing mosques. They are just rumors fabricated with ulterior motives. The real purpose is to make use of religions and Muslims to sow discord between ethnic minorities and contain Xinjiang's development. We are clear about the sinister intentions and won't fall for their tricks. Thank you. Thanks. Mohan Osman. Superior for the better view of Xinjiang. Religious belief, freedom. We also have a video. Since we know that the relevant departments are making a documentary about religious freedom in Xinjiang. Please go to the video first.
The capital of Xinjiang, the largest and most prosperous city in Xinjiang. The 120-year-old Yanghan monks looks very gorgeous. With a unique green color and a gate is decorated with colors and carved patterns.
我们这个洋行启用社是建于1857年，1909年，当地的都和洋行组织改建了一次。当时我们这个村区有很多维学人，在银行也开了很多公司，所以这个村区被称为洋行区，所以我们这个洋行是这个名字给了出来的。
Yanghan monks is a venue for religious activities, not only by visitors and great ethnic groups in Xinjiang, but also by overseas Muslims in entry.
The mosque is so beautiful and you can come here at any time, but usually we are so busy with our studies. So me and my friends came here like every Friday for Juma only. People and the food, everything is so beautiful. The people are so friendly actually. Me and my friends are so happy to stay here.
It is said that Tata contributed to building Yanghan monks, thus termed as Tata monks as well.
Thanks for watching. I hope that we could get a chance to come to the Yanghan Mosque to get real. Next, we would like to invite the worker from Hotian to introduce how she walked out.
Hello everyone. My name is Dilnor, 27. I'm from Luopu County of Hotan Prefecture in southern Xinjiang. Now I work at cooperative in the county seat. Now I have 2 children. In the past, when my children were very young, I had no choice but stay at home and be a housewife. I see that my husband was the only breadwinner. I see he was very busy and hard at work. I also wanted to help him. So I also wanted to go out to work while I was young. I'm still young, so that I can share some burden for my husband and also create better conditions for my children. Now my children have grown up, I can go out to work. Last year, I heard that a cooperative was opening near our home and it was recruiting. So I signed up, applied for the job, and got recruited by the cooperative. I also signed a labor contract with the employer. The cooperative pay us endowment, insurance, medical insurance, unemployment insurance, work injury insurance, maternity insurance, and housing provident fund. is I learned accounting at college, so I worked as an accountant at the cooperative with a monthly income of 3,500 yuan. We work 8 hours a day and can ask for leave whenever we feel necessary, and we also enjoy work annual leave. The cooperative has halal food, which provides lunch, and through the work at the cooperative, I feel the joy of working. When I got the first month's salary, I feel very happy about new clothes from my husband and parents, snacks for my children, and also food and clothes and cosmetics for myself. All my family was very happy. The beautiful dress on me today is bought with my own salary. In the past, my husband was the only breadwinner. Now we have 2 wage earners. This year we bought a new car, which makes it much easier for us to travel. Our life is becoming better and better. We Uyghurs have a proverb: 2 pennies earned by hard work is better than a mountain bestowed by the emperor. Hereby, I want to ask those rumor-mongers out abroad, if we don't go out to work, will you pay us? Will you raise our children? We do our work, make money for a better life. Do we have to be forced by others to do so? Is there any fault in creating a better life through our own hard work? Thank you. Thank you, Dinor, for sharing your story. There are many other people like her in the rural areas and in the urban areas. And many of her have moved from the countryside to the urban areas to work and to earn a better life. We would also like to share a video with you on this, in this regard.
Hello， 大家好，我叫罗平，大一，我从新疆和田市来这里工作快1年了。在这家公司上班和公司签订10条的合同。我们的公司是几件的，我现在已经出来了很多，一天能拿到4800元左右。我是家里是老大。小弟他们呢还在尝试，大弟弟在和田是一家咖啡店上班。在政府帮助下，爸爸在家里在吃养猪，现在已经有5只羊和3头牛了。妈妈在一家。帮忙这一场吧，现在家境是越来越好。后面这栋楼就是我们4个楼，我们已经放假了，今天要出去玩。这公园离我们单位很近，他也很我经常和我好友来这玩。这是我好朋友韩小站，他是比较的本地人，他对我很好。平时有空的时候，他在国语，我的国语进步，离不开他对我的帮助。这个公园好美啊，我们以后经常过来。等一下，你逛完了就去哪里玩一下？你跟去商场好不好？哇，很好哎！去商场逛一下。好。这里是我们公司附近的一个大商场，这里面的衣服都很漂亮，我们平时来这里买东西。
Thank you. And the last representative from Xinjiang side is Ayin Shagu Yiming, a parent of a student in a boarding school in Korla City. Good morning. My name is Ayin Shagu Yiming. I'm a worker of Botohu Farm in Korla City, Bangu Prefecture in Xinjiang. My husband is a farmer. We have 2 children. My son is in the 2nd year of senior high school, and my daughter in the 1st year of junior high school. In the past, when my daughter was in primary school, her school was more than 10 kilometers away from our home, so it was very inconvenient to go to home. As I was busy with my work, so my husband drove a motorcycle to send and pick my daughter from her school every day. And at that time, the road was a dirt road. In winter, it was a tough job to send and pick my daughter, especially in windy and snowy days. So my daughter was often late for school, and we couldn't even guarantee her class time. At that time, her grades were not so well. And now I send my daughter to a boarding school in Korle City, where the food, accommodation fees, and tuition fees are all exempted. My daughter goes to school and stays on campus from Monday to Friday. On weekends, the school arranges coaches to take the children home. So there's no need for her to go back and forth every day. The school has very spacious and bright classrooms and tidy and clean dormitories. The food there are also delicious. My daughter loves the food there very much. So this saves us a lot of hassles. We parents and the teachers have also set up WeChat groups in which the teachers often tell us about our children's study and life on campus. If there's any problem, we can also contact the teachers. It is very convenient. At school, my daughter learned basic life skills, such as folding the clothes, arranging her clothes, and she can take good care of herself. When she goes home, she also takes initiative to help us do the housework, such as cleaning, the washing clothes. She's more sensible and thoughtful than before. In school, she and her classmates study and play together. She has made many good friends. Every weekend, she goes home and tells me about the interesting things in her school. Now she has become more cheerful and self-confident. I'm very happy to see that. I heard that some people in foreign countries say that we are forced to send our children to boarding schools, which cause the family separation. These are downright lies. Here I want to say that boarding school has helped me a lot. My daughter loves the life in her school, and she grows up happily in her school. She loves the school environment, and we feel very relieved about it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your stories. And this is our briefing. I would like to give the floor back to the Australian Embassy side.